today we're honoring Mrs. Brenda Cole. How about a round of applause? Lots to do, but thought it would be very nice to open with a prayer. So let me introduce Reverend Amy Roller.
You've upgraded my title. Let's pray together. Holy and gracious God, we give you thanks and praise for how you have blessed us, and we see this in so many places, in the beauty of your creation, in the faces of the people that we love and care for us, and in the ministry that we see here and through Brenda's work. And we just ask that you would bless our time together today, and may everything we do honor you. We pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amy, very nice, very nice. That's our first time in 28 years we think we've opened with a prayer. Doesn't it make sense we started with prayer? Amen. Very good. So, we all know Brenda, and to say that she's been a volunteer probably is an understated way of putting this. We know the list. It goes on. Community Helping Hands. She works in the sewing room. She runs in the thrift room. She's worked in Frewsburg School Library, Sparrow's Nest at the Wesleyan Church, the Zonda Club, Lily's Hope Room. Sylvia's here from that very charity. So, I mean, how wonderful. So how about, can we applause a lot today? Is that all right? But even Brenda would say, you can't do it all alone, so let me introduce a couple of the family members. I think it's nice her dad, Ken Sr., is here. Husband Dave, we know, is on the way. And you know what's nice? Brenda got him a job volunteering, so this is actually her fault. Is that right? I guess it would be. Her daughter, Ashley, can't be with us today. All I'll say is she sent a surprise. And Brenda knows that much already. She read my script. Brother Ray is with us. Ray, right over here. Nice to see you, Ray. We've got grandkids and more brothers and daughter-in-laws, but they all must be with Dave. I guess. And we've met Reverend Amy. How nice. She's the executive director here at Helping Hands. And we wouldn't be here without her, not only the prayer, but she actually was the nominator and the one who brought Brenda's name to us. So thank you very much, Amy. Now, did Melissa arrive? She's with Dave. I know, we tried so hard. She worked with Brenda. She learned to quilt and to sew and to help with the babies. And we even call her our adopted child. You know how nice that is. And she wrote also in support of the nomination. And Cindy Reedy is also is here. Hi, Cindy. She's with the Community Action Committee, and she also wrote in favor of Brenda winning the prize. So how about that? We've got all these nice friends, Brenda. And Carol Lamp here is here also, and yay, thank you very much. She also wrote in favor. Did anybody write in disfavor? Are they here? I guess they wouldn't be here. And I'd now like to introduce Randy Sweeney, who's executive director of the foundation, who's going to talk to us about who is this guy, Axel Carlson.
Axel Carlson was born in Sweden on a farm in the 1890s. In his youth, living on a farm, obviously he learned those skills, but he also learned the skills of carpentry, which sustained him later in life. He immigrated from Sweden to Jamestown when he was in his teens. He began working in woodworking down in Brooklyn Square. However, he suffered a health issue and decided to return back to Sweden. But returned back here, which turned out to be a great decision for him as he married his wife, Emma. They settled along Chautauqua Lake and lived here the rest of their life, but they had no children. Axel Carlson was the kind of person that we'd like to have next door. He was very much a people person. He was very much interested in those that were around him. And think about the time that he grew up. He grew up and lived during a couple of different world wars, depressions, in a time when many people were really struggling. But he was the guy next door that always had a little something extra. He had a reward for someone. He was always willing to reach out and help in a time of need. He passed away in November of 1981, leaving a portion of his estate to the foundation with the direction to help the people that he left behind. At that time, the executive director of the foundation was a gentleman by the name of Francis Grow. He convinced the board to set aside some of those resources for an award such as this to honor individuals in our community, like Axel Carlson, that realize the importance of volunteerism, the fact that they wanted to give back and help their fellow man. So as the committee each year looks at those that are nominated, some of the criteria that they refer to and the nominators are looking at as they make their nominations go as follows. An individual that expects no recognition whatsoever for what they're doing. No expectation of monetary gain. Hoping to make a change or an impact in someone else's life. Making a difference. Contributions of significant time and effort. Commitment certainly to community service, individual needs. Generally someone that's had a lifetime of helping others. So those are some of the criteria that the committee is looking at. So as we continue on with our celebration today, I want to add, this is my one opportunity at the microphone, so I want to add my thanks and my congratulations to Brenda. It's people like Brenda that make this area special. And we want to thank you for everything you've done, the great example that you've set, and also how many lives has Brenda Cole touched.
And I'm happy to announce that Dave has arrived.
I want you to know I was out volunteering.
I said that. So it's Brenda's fault because she got you here, right? There you go. All right. Well, you're right on the right time here. The mayor of the city of Jamestown is not with us today, but he, Mr. Sam Teresi, did send along a proclamation, and to read that is from our staff and from the foundation, Bridget Johnson. Bridget?
This is a proclamation from the City of Jamestown, Office of the Mayor. Whereas today we join the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation to celebrate the accomplishments of Brenda Cole, an outstanding volunteer and active member of the Jamestown community. And whereas on behalf of all local residents, we congratulate Brenda on her receipt of this year's Axel W. Carlson Award. And whereas we commend Brenda for her willingness to share her time, energy, and love for her community through a variety of organizations, notably through her work for Community Helping Hands. And whereas we recognize Brenda as a leader amongst her peers and an outstanding example of what is truly good and right about the greater Jamestown area, now, therefore, I, Samuel Teresi, Mayor of the City of Jamestown, do hereby proclaim Friday, June 21st, 2013, as Brenda Cole Day in the City of Jamestown, and encourage all area residents to honor Brenda's achievements and to seek to emulate her example of volunteerism, enthusiasm, and love for our great community.
Thank you, Bridget, very much. And I should have, it seems to me that Brenda should be up here. Doesn't it seem that way? How about that? Can we bring her up here? Why don't we just stand here? We part of this whole thing. What do you guys think? All right, good. So next, we have a proclamation of the county executive, who is not here, but the vice president of the foundation is here, Pamela Knoll. Pam? All right.
I have a similar proclamation from the Office of the County Executive, Greg Edwards. Whereas Axel W. Carlson was a Swedish immigrant who lived a humble life and had a great joy for helping others. And whereas the Axel W. Carlson Award is given annually to recognize the unsung heroes of our community who unselfishly dedicate their time and efforts to greatly benefit those in their community. And whereas Brenda Cole has volunteered her time and talents at Community Helping Hands for 3 years by supervising the sewing room and teaching young pregnant women how to sew and quilt. And whereas young women, seniors, cancer patients, and residents throughout our county have benefited from her generosity, knowledge, compassionate spirit, and willingness to help others. Now, therefore, I, Greg J. Edwards, Chautauqua County Executive, do hereby proclaim Friday, June 21st as Brenda Cole Day. And in Chautauqua County, encourage everyone to take a moment to thank Ms. Cole for her hard work and dedication to make the community a better place.
Thank you. Stay, is that okay?
I'll stay.
You know, I was thinking, how many here have ever had a proclamation, either read to them about themselves or have one at home? You know, and you wonder how thrilling. She got 2 of them today, one from the mayor and one from the county executive. I think that's very, very fortunate. So good for you. All right, let's see. What else do I got to say? Well, you've heard the list. Heard about the Community Helping Hands. And it really is nice. If you have a chance to look at the table out here, it's some of the products they produce, like the chemo caps for the cancer people over at WCA. I mean, it's so wonderful they're doing all this. She refers to her staff as her girls. Are any of her girls here? How nice. How nice. And did you sew and quilt before?
No, not really.
She's a fabric folder.
Yeah.
Fabric folder.
We have specialties.
Yes, we have the fabric unfolders, I guess, and we have the fabric folders. Great. So she makes cat toys that go to the Humane Society. How nice that is. And she even makes clothes for my little charity to heart over in Haiti. Do you get to go there?
No.
No, we send them over. So she also, this is interesting, she's also teaching bill paying, teaching Facebook, email, budgeting, cooking, parenting. What else? Isn't that wonderful? They really are her girls. You know, it really does sound like Brenda is a descendant, just like of Axel Carlson. You know, you heard, you know, looking not for fame. It was really hard to find Brenda. Here she was, you know, hidden here in this beautiful building here. And we just introduced Carol Lamp here. I love your quote, Carol, so I think it sums it up for me. So I'm going to quote from Carol. When she is not involved in all these projects, she, meaning Brenda, of course, she is the friend who visits her sick friends, brings them food, drives them to the doctor, and lends an ear or shoulder when needed. And isn't that what this is all about? Does anybody live next door to her? My house, there's a house next, oh, you do?
Brenda does live right there.
Do you? Right, isn't that nice? You can call on her for help. So I've got some, we should clap after all that, shouldn't we? So Randy's going to assist with this, but let me show you where some of this goes. So here's a large plaque, all those 28 winners, and the very last one with printing on it says Brenda Cole. And this hangs in the foundation office, right in the front lobby there. And she gets a small version, an appreciation notice up for your community service. So that when you get the key, we ask you not to take this one home. Is that right?
Thank you.
There's other stuff that go with this. There is some money. She made it all out to me? No. So Brenda, here's one for you. And then she has a check we have for charities, and she's chosen this to go to 3 different charities. One is the Women's Services Chautauqua County. There's that check. Are somebody here from that group?
No.
No? Okay. And then I like this. This is from the West Side Rescue. And you may not have heard of that. It's because this is where her daughter volunteers out in California. So how nice that is. Right? There you go. Thank you. And of course, Community Helping Hands. So nice. So I am going to ask Brenda to speak, but first I'm going to ask the nominator, Reverend Amy Roller, to come back up, who has a few words.
I'm just going to say a few things, but when I received a flyer in the mail from the Community Foundation asking for nominees, I immediately thought of Brenda. And many of you who are here know her. You have a relationship with her. And when I thought of someone who was an unsung hero, when I thought of someone who just really gave of themselves without anything in return, I just thought of everything Brenda did, not just here at Community Helping Hands, but the things that I know she does for her church and many other organizations. I just wanted there to be some kind of recognition for that. And if you read any leadership books from the past and the present, one of the main qualities of the greatest leaders of all time is that they were very, very humble, and they had that humility about them. And that doesn't necessarily seem to make sense to us when you think of leaders. Sometimes you think of charismatic people or people who are very powerful, but really being humble is the best quality you can have when it comes to being a good leader. And I don't think Brenda would say that she's a leader, except that all of these people here recognize that quality of leadership that she has. And she is one of the most humble people that I know. And for those of you who volunteer or work here at Community Helping Hands, we have a saying, and we call it Gateway Perfect. It was invented by another volunteer who's also an unsung hero. And what that means is that something comes into the showroom or into the sewing room, and it may not be in the best condition, and we sort of rig it together to make it work, and sometimes it looks okay and sometimes not, but it's Gateway Perfect. So it's perfect, it's not perfect, but we make it work, or we kind of gather up the resources to make it work. And one of the things that we like to say is that maybe all of us are kind of gateway perfect. You know, we're not perfect, but we manage to make things work. And so, Brenda, I just wanted to thank you for being so gateway perfect.
Thank you so much. How nice. I love that term, gateway perfect. We'll have to find another way to use that. So here we go. This is the kind of the fun part. I'm going to invite others to come up and they might have a few words, so we obviously have not rehearsed this. Who's willing to come on up and say a few words about their friend, neighbor, co-worker, Brenda Cole?
I'll say a few words.
You know, we didn't rehearse this. I didn't even see the guy.
I was late. This is a woman, excuse me, this is a woman that I have known for 22 years, 23, maybe 24 years. We've been married 22 years as of last week, even this last Friday. And I'll tell you what, we fight a lot. Okay? But I have never found another person that I could entrust my love to, can trust her with everything I have. I have no fear whatsoever that everything that I have, she does for me in my best interest. And it's very unusual to find somebody that will do something for you with nothing, expecting nothing in return. And this is my wife. And I love her dearly, and I wouldn't trade her for anybody.
Wow. I would say he's made up for being late. Wow, that was wonderful.
He talks like that all the time.
Well, who wants to follow that one?
I just want to thank you, Brenda, for letting me come into the sewing room. I've enjoyed it, and I've learned quite a bit, and I've met a lot of friends and your friends. And I know how talented you are. And I think, boy, I've never done anything compared to Brenda.
Since I've got the microphone, anyone else? Oh, here comes Sue. Sue always.
I always have something to say. What you meant. Sue Colwell, St. Susan Center. I mentioned to Brenda once that we could use some aprons. And I don't know how many Brenda has made and had the ladies make, but she brought some, and then she brought some more, and then she brought some more, and then she brought some more. So, and she even put our name on them. So thank you very much. And we're still using them, and they've held up better than the ones we ordered online. Thank you very much.
Here comes Dad. Now we're going to get the real story.
I'm Brenda's father, and she's my daughter naturally, and I love her very much, and I'm very proud of her. But I'm not surprised. She's always that way.
Oh,
Lisa has
see if I can get all the way over.
I'm a neighbor to her, but far enough away that we can't fight. But the church is here represented, and we all love her, not just Dave. And if I need some help with my sewing, she gladly comes and repairs whatever I've done. We love you.
I think we've got a guest that just arrived. Melissa.
This is the adopted one.
The adopted one is what we've been hearing, so.
Hi, I'm Lisa. I've worked here for 7 years, and I'm the one that nominated Brenda. And I've worked in a sewing room for about 5 years and helped her out. And she's even helped me out with a lot of stuff, especially a Halloween quilt for my first one, which we had a heck of a time doing the zigzag bordering, but we got it through. And I miss being here with her. Thank you. Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll turn it back over to Bob.
Thank you. I almost, when I was looking at Randy from the back, it looked like he was going to break out into like Donka Shane or something, you know? So how nice. We've got one thing to do before we bring Brenda up to say her thank you. I mentioned earlier that we had a surprise from daughter Ashley. Remember? You read it, the script? So we are about to go to California for a little surprise.
Hi Mom, I just wanted to pop in and say congratulations. I know that you probably think there was a fluke and you don't understand why you were nominated for this award or why you won, but please let me tell you that you do deserve it, and please believe me when I say I don't know anybody who deserves it more. I have watched you my entire life give to people that you would never meet, and I've watched you give to people without leaving your name, and I think that's a huge testament to the kind of person you are, because there are a lot of people that will do good things, but only if they get something back from it. So I am really proud of you. I think it's awesome that you won this award. I wish I could be there tonight, but I can't wait to hear about it. All right, I love you. Bye.
I guess she's also forgiven that being here. Wow. So touching. Let's see, I gotta follow the directions here. It says to bring up Brenda. It's your turn. All right, everybody up for a hug. Let's go.
I just want to say, I think that was a rotten trick to expect her to talk after she got that message from her mom.
It's always good to have the MC and the winner crying. Somebody actually thought this was the right way to stage it.
I'm not good
I don't see Dorothy here, but I'd like to say thank you to Dorothy because when we first came to the center, Dorothy snagged me in here to work. Secondly, I'd like to thank Pastor Amy because it's always yes. What we want to do, it's always yes. Give it a try. I like that idea. She lets us do all of these things that maybe don't even benefit the center, but like all of the cancer products that we make, those are just given. And it's still just fine. That's what we're to do. I'd like to thank the Community Foundation Committee for choosing me. And David for letting me be gone whenever I need to be gone. I have 2 girlfriends that have been very, very around me. That's Debbie Seaside. We've worked for 15 years together at least, making stuff from preemie babies to things for the Indian reservations. Just anything I can think of. I don't know, we've just done everything. And she has even started to work up here with me. My friend Gloria, we don't sew together, we basically buy fabric together. But Gloria says, whoa, I've got so much fleece. What can I do? I says, we have these breast cancer pillows. And she sews them a bunch and brings them down for me to take on. And it's kind of like I get a lot of credit from all these people that are my friends that enable me, and people think, oh, this is all you, but I keep telling them, no, you have to blame this on that person or that person or that person, because it's them. Then we have Carol. Carol came to our room probably, I don't know if it was maybe a year or somewhere around that, a year and a half. She was supposed to work in our room one day. Well, she saw my sinking ship, and she came in. I'm a labeler, she's a putter-awayer. I'm a saver, she's a throw-it-awayer. We're rubbing off on each other the longer we're together. And she made it order so that we could progress farther. We have our ladies who fold the fabric, Evelyn and Elaine. We have the girls, Melissa, we have Marianne. Everybody helps. And we have all the men who lug and tote things. They just, sometimes I didn't even have a chance to ask. I said, I really like this table. And before I know it, that table's on the way upstairs, and I haven't even asked the person who was supposed to make the decision. I don't know how that happens, but it does all the time. All those people, they're enablers. And I guess it's a good enabling. I'd like to thank Melissa, Carol, and Cindy for their letters. To the Kind Tone Ladies Aid, they have helped me with monetary donations to buy things that we've needed. The Kind Tone Men's Club, every time Dave can't afford it, I go to them and I say, gee whiz, we need $50 for yarn for really soft chemo caps, and they're always bringing it out, and we, you know, we always get help from them. And then there are other members from our church who have done things. Alberta's sewed hats. Ruth, I can't remember the things that you have done, but I know that you have given us supplies, and you've worked on things too with us. And I just really thank you all very much. That's
Axel?
Well, it's just a little bit part of it, but I told Amy before, I don't come to a job, I come to a joy. The sewing room over here is the absolute place that God made for me.
Isn't this the lady who said she wasn't big on public speaking? I believe we're going to open now the Community Center for Public Speaking. And here we got the new box, so Amy, can we get her involved in that? This is the 21 jet flyover we had, exactly the time it is. So, I'm just here to say thanks to everybody for showing up, for the participants, the attendees, the Gateway Center staff, Reverend Amy for helping us with all the setup here. There were no pillars in here when we walked in here at 3 o'clock. The board members, the foundation staff, and of course, Brenda for being a winner. So stay around. There's a photo map sign back here. Yes, there is. And there's refreshments. You can take photos. And God bless you, Brenda Cole. We may now party.
This is what the sewing room does. This is Brenda. She oversees it. Here's some of the cool stuff they do. And then you guys are just going to kind of ask her questions.
We're going to sit down?
No, we'll probably be standing.
So we're not going to be long.
So, but do I need to turn it over to someone, or will at some point you just kind of like step in?
Turn it over to me.
Whenever he's tired, he'll take it to the finish line.
Okay. All right. I bet you will.
Yeah. I have another meeting.
No, don't mind me. We're just here for a little tour. So. Alright, so this is the sewing room. And we have several volunteers that work here, but we have a lot of women who are pregnant that get assigned to work experience, and we obviously don't want them on their feet, on the cement floors, so we have volunteers that teach them how to sew. Brenda, will you explain what they're making over there right now? I think it's a cool thing. It's just, there's all these projects that you just don't even realize.
Another thing that my girlfriend and I used to make were called cool ties, and we found out on the internet through a group we were part of, they sent these away to Iraq or wherever our troops were.
Is it a bow tie? Or?
Well, no, what it is, it's a little tie, and it's sewn across here, and if you feel, can you feel that?
It's got
Little
corners
pouch.
in there.
It's a polymer that absorbs water. And of course, when you send them overseas for the troops, they have to be just military color. But these expand, and they fill with water, and they're cooler, because they're like 115 degrees.
Right. Wow.
And so we've sent hundreds and hundreds, but we sell them now.
Well, speaking of online angels, Brenda, my name is Bobby, but I'm actually not from Manchester. And all these people here are with the foundation, and I happen to be the chairman of the Axel Carlson Award. It's an award we give every year. This is our 28th year coming up, to someone who is flying below the radar, doing good things, volunteering. And you, ma'am, are this year's recipient of the Axel Carlson Award.
Don't be mad at me.
I'm kind of shy. I really, really am. Thank
You are
you
the
so
least
much.
shy person I know.
I'm really shy. If I could get behind the wall, I would.
Have you been to one of these by chance in the 27th? So we'll have quite a shindig for you. We'll probably do it upstairs, we thought.
I think so, yeah.
In the room we looked at upstairs. And you ought to invite everybody you know. When the mayor shows up, probably.
Oh, my.
You see, people cry. That's when we know it worked.
We'll give you a little idea, the overview of the
There's some money involved.
I was sneaky.